Welcome to the Kids Love Sport podcast, brought to you by me, Sam Levick, the founder and owner of Fun Fitness for Littlies Australia. Fun Fitness for Littlies started in 2016 in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, and was designed by myself in collaboration with my dad, Ross, a retired high school PE teacher, and my mum, a retired preschool teacher. The program has been designed to provide children aged 0 to 12 with the opportunity to engage in fundamental movement skills and sporting skills with the use of 14 types of sports equipment, with each week having a focus sport to excite and engage the children in a variety of skills. With the education background that we have, we aim to encompass not only the physical development, but also the cognitive, emotional, and social developmental areas via fun, engaging, and age-appropriate activities to build love for physical activity and sport. Whether our children stay with us for a term or 6, if they head off to a sport they want to play, that means we have reached our aim. We've had many children with us for 6 to 8 terms, or ages 3 to 5. And when they hit primary school, they have a much more rounded approach to sport at school, with also a greater understanding of what sports are available for them to play in or out of school. A little bit about me before we go too far into this podcast. When finishing school, I went into early childhood and immediately fell in love with the opportunity to support, educate and excite the youngest generation who, to me, just want to learn through playing, testing, trying, watching, feeling and hearing. I was 19, straight into the sector in Lake Macquarie, New South Wales, excited to have the opportunity to give back to the youngest generation, although with some flack from the older generation in my family and certain parts of the community, which I didn't really understand at that age. I had a passion and I went after it, and it turned out I was quite a natural. After a few years in the sector and hearing my dad come home telling us that year 7s are coming through to high school now and not able to hop, skip, jump, throw, catch, what are we doing at primary school? This opened up a conversation about when, where, and how this could change. Having been teaching for over 30 years at that point, he had seen a dramatic decline in children's physical ability as well as emotional regulation with regard to winning and losing. One of the first comments he made when he opened up that conversation was, "With you," meaning I could make a change by implementing more physical activity and fundamental movement-based activities in early childhood to create a habit, a strong foundation of physical literacy with which most children, once they have a strong foundation and it becomes habitual, it will stick with them for life. From there, I set about implementing and trying different activities at a local long daycare centre I was working at. And after a few months, I was already seeing a big difference, not only using my testing and evaluation process, but feedback from parents. Wow, my little boy just wants to jump around the house. I've never seen my little girl kick so well. We went to the park the other day and both kids climbed the spiderweb without my help. These were some of the comments I was receiving, which showed me that what was being implemented and worked on with me was making quite the impact in these littlies' lives and their families, with the excitement of these skills building, the parents being able to praise and be excited with their child through these milestones. That's when the business was born, and it took over within a few months. Having been raised by a PE teacher, you may think that I played every sport under the sun. Never sat down, never watched TV, didn't play on devices and had a strict diet. It couldn't have been any more different. My older sister and I had the privilege to see Dad at work, see him play sport, see him coach teams, and we would always be going along and trying what he or his teams were playing. He didn't get home from school and say, "Kids, time to go outside and we'll look at cricket today." The dialogue went more like, "Hey kids, what are you playing outside today?" We had the amazing opportunity to try most sports and sporting skills thanks to the PE Sports Shed. But a lot of it was unintentional teaching, where my sister and I learnt by doing with a very small amount of input from Mum and Dad. Mum, being very active throughout her high school years and being a top-level softballer, was also very well equipped with a strong foundation for physical abilities. That's meant that when we did go out in the backyard to play cricket or footy, we all played together, and it was something that Mum and Dad very much so did encourage. Throughout primary school, we had a little black and white TV, a VHS player, cassette deck, and a record player. This was the extent of our technology throughout the 90s. It wasn't until Dad took a new position a couple of hours up the highway from Singleton in a town called Tamworth. This move is where, for me, sport really took off. I had been playing cricket, rugby, a lot of athletics, and of course, swimming. But until that stage, I didn't realise what other sports really I could be involved in. But Tamworth meant hockey was a sport that I could try. This was one sport that Dad did say to my sister and I would like you to try this sport, with no pressure at all. We both loved it, and my sister had somewhat found her sport, and she was also a very good swimmer, so water polo became a sport she thoroughly enjoyed. For me, hockey became the sport. I was 10, still playing cricket in summer along with little athletics, and then for the first time in my life, I had a winter sport that I just loved from the moment I started. The love for hockey still is with me today, and I went on to play up until the age of 16, representing New South Wales each year as a striker. I didn't stop playing cricket until 15 and athletics until 17. I actually stopped playing all sport at 17 due to injury at state titles on the track, and also the love just wasn't there anymore. Music had started to take over, and my final year of school was a busy one between music and study. As a young adult, sport took a back seat, and I used it as an outlet, still playing hockey for a season or two in top grades, a little bit of coaching, and took up snowboarding, and was keeping myself physically fit by running and exercising regularly. Sport has continued to this day to be something I'm always involved in for myself, and I find myself back at where it all started. We're playing cricket in the local comps. I hope you enjoy the Kids Love Sport podcast. Throughout the series, we are going to be joined by allied health professionals, parents, children of all ages, athletes from a variety of different sports, and exercise professionals that are within the sports sector. I hope you enjoy, you get some small take-homes, and open up conversations for those parents out there and allied health professionals in regards to the safest, most effective way to have children engaged in sport forever.